Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. The scene in New Sarum this evening finds Stefan Braunfiedler walking home after at about 9:30. The past couple weeks, he's distanced himself from the other kindred. He's been thinking a lot about the the um, the way that his first and second meeting with Gloria has gone, or had went, despite the distance between, or despite the distance between visits. She still seemed very drawn to him, very easily drawn to him, very close. This brings a smile to his face, but it also brings a bit of sadness. He's starting to really understand the real power of the blood at this point. And having been contemplating his mistakes with the Tremere, he believes that he's starting to fully understand why they reacted the way they did. It's not their blood specifically that is valuable, it is kindred blood that is valuable from one kindred to the next. But as he walks along all this contemplation of food, as he carries a bottle of rice wine and some Chinese takeout, oddly enough, he begins to feel that well of hunger, in the pit of his stomach, deepen a bit more, as it has for the past 2 weeks. He's only barely been able to keep himself above manageable. And at this moment, he looks around, only slightly breaking from his breaking his internal contemplations, his monologues. He begins to scan about the streets to see if, despite some odd presence as the National Guard is only beginning to pack up, if he can find somebody who is still out and about this evening. And indeed, he is in luck. A man walking toward him in the opposite direction he's heading. As they intersect, Stefan kind of makes like he's going to sidestep to avoid him, but still I'm going to make a manipulation and subterfuge. Um, trying to make it seem as though he's not doing this on purpose to kind of stop the person, but so that seems natural, like it was happenstance. It's just an accident. Just happenstance that they bumped into each other. With some success, actually. Um, the man kind of looks at him, kind of angrily, as Stefan um, as Stefan uh, reaches out to speak. Oh, my apologies. As Stefan reaches down to pick up something that dropped. The man, my apologies. I am quite tired. I did not mean to bump into you. Um, please forgive me. Um, the man kind of gets down to pick up his bag that kind of went everywhere. Stefan sets down his uh, his bag and begins helping the man um, pick up his things. Um, and at that moment, um, when he's about to get up to help the man up with his bags, he will attempt to kind of grab him quickly and sink his fangs into his neck so there's no scream to avoid any noise. But as it would seem, when Stefan kind of reaches out, the man kind of, "Hey, what are you doing? What the hell? I'm just trying to help you out. Just trying to help you get to your feet." Um, the man kind of just give me my bag so I can give me my bag and just let me go. Get out of here, you weirdo. Stefan kind of he looks at the man. Um, he says, "I did not mean anything by it. It just I thought I saw something that was crawling on your shoulder." Just just calm down. Take a seat over here and take a deep breath. It will be good for you. As he looks in the man's eyes for a moment, um, and his eyes um, almost hypnotically, the pupils of Stefan's eyes dilate just a little bit. Um, like they dilate, retract at an interval, um, further catching the man's gaze, who takes a deep breath and he walks over to a bus stop bench. Stefan picks up his bag, follows the man. As soon as the man sits, Stefan's actually going to try to do. He's going to try to dex and stuff to kind of make like he's, or kind of sneak back up behind him after he walks away a little bit. With success. As the man walks over to the bus stop bench, Stefan kind of doubles back on himself a little bit, carefully listens to the sound of the soles of his shoes, the heels of the back, slightly wet pavement as it has been raining earlier this evening and for the past couple days, or past few days. He begins to slowly walk back behind the man at the bus stop bench, and as he sits down, he quickly, unbeknownst, gets close enough to where he can bare his fangs, sink them into this individual, and take a bit of sustenance to help him. Man quickly, as he takes another deep breath, he just goes slack almost, in rapture, not pain, but the sensation of a kiss that kindred so eloquently place on mortals. Begins to take him over. His arms go to his side. His eyes almost roll into the back of his head. In an extreme ecstasy. Stefan only takes he only tries to take about 1 point. With success, he keeps his restraint, his composure. It's not easy, but he manages to keep himself in line, caught up in the taste of beer, the emotional state of the man is actually quite happy before Stefan ran into him. The emotions the man felt earlier this evening, rejoice, begins to flood through Stefan's mind as at least a little bit of feeding fills Stefan with the same emotion. There's a moment to rejoice in success. The meeting with Gloria that he's planned about 3 days ago. After feeding a bit, he kind of just lightly lets his tongue brush over both the wounds, sealing them, and stepping back quietly. As Stefan tends to do. makes his way off into the night, leaving the man on the bus bench, still conscious, but reeling from the rapture and the bliss of kindred's embrace. Moment of feeding, moment of pleasure. He continues heading back to his apartment through one of the many alleyways that he's become accustomed to. Um, Takes him about another 20 minutes um, to cross through one section of downtown into the other, or into another. Um, but eventually, 25 minutes later, he gets back to his apartment and he finds a familiar vehicle that that of his the lady who he's most pleased to meet with this evening, to spend some time with, to rectify a mistake, to really try to reconnect with her, to kind of get to know her. He doesn't just owe it to himself, he owes it to her. He's been still guilt racked or guilt stricken since the night he fell on her and could have almost nearly killed her. He feels as though he had victimized her. It's not what he wanted to do. It wasn't his aim. Never is. But as he gets closer to his apartment and he sees Gloria's car just before he begins heading up, "Hi, Gloria. Come on. Come on." He motions her up, waits for her to get out of her car, lock it, head up to his apartment. Um, how have you been, Gloria? I apologize that I have not called too often. Um, I've, I've been okay. Um, Work's been pretty consuming, but I managed to get what is it, a new company that I managed to get in with as a as an assistant, kind of an assistant office manager, helping to organize agent schedules, some sports firm. It's good, good, Gloria. I'm happy for you. Well, I decided to get dinner. I trust you have not eaten yet. Gloria kind of looks at him a little bit shyly. No, not yet. Well, come up, my dear. I do not know if the drink is going to be adequate, but I did try to think about what I was going to get for this evening. Again, Gloria just kind of looks at him, not meekly, but demurely, you know, ever so slightly, more trying to hide a little bit of nervousness, like a tick in her hand, or jitteriness, or overly eagerness. Um, that she's been feeling. Um, Stefan Stefan notices this and begins to think to himself as he places his key into his door, or into the door to open it. I wonder if, and begins to wonder if um, the blood that he's fed her doesn't metabolize and create some kind of addictive effect. He opens the door without any further delay at all, in the middle of his thought. Please, Gloria. It's not much, but it is where I call home. Gloria steps inside. Stefan walks in shortly after, locking one of the locks, the door. He ushers her to one of two seats, or to a seat across from where he generally sits in this little area. Sets the food, or sets the bag with the food and the beverage, food and drink, on a table between the two armchairs, which sit in the middle of a worn but nice throw rug, a roll-out carpet. Please sit. He steps behind her, takes her coat and effects, and hangs them. Please make yourself comfortable, Gloria. And although awkwardly, he pulls out a couple of glasses from the bag that look new. He's peeled off any kind of stickers from the glassware. Sets the small bottle down on the floor and begins to take out the boxes, the Chinese takeout boxes that contain the victuals. As he looks at Gloria, caressing the side of her face, one finger. Please, you must be hungry. Eat. And he pours a bit of rice wine into each glass. Have you been able to, or were you able to find an adequate driving school for me? I believe that was the last call. Gloria, in the middle of taking a bite from a pair of chopsticks she's using, Kind of puts it down a little bit, remembering her manners. Quickly chewing, swallowing her food. Um, yes, I managed to. I managed to find one, oddly enough, within the downtown area. It's small, but they do operate primarily at night, um, up until about 1 in the morning. And they do have a class that goes from 10 to 1 on Monday nights. Good, good. Thank you, Gloria. I know it's not usual, but I do appreciate you helping me. Um, I also might have an interesting proposition, a business proposition if you're interested in the future. But given you're starting a new job, um, I'm not going to bring it up. But I do wish you the best of luck. Gloria smiles a bit, not to expose the food that she's chewing. Um, Stefan kind of picks up one of the glasses. And lifts it to his lips just to take a little bit of a sip. And then instead of holding it in his mouth, he just kind of lets it run back out with his hand around the glass. This isn't the worst, but I guess I have had. Isn't the best, but I have had worse. Look, Gloria. I know it has been a couple weeks since, in between our get-togethers or visits, but I'm glad that you still speak with me. I'm glad that you have not become upset and distanced yourself. I appreciate that. But and I will try to spend more time with you. Uh, maybe. Well, I don't want to overstep my bounds. Maybe we should start over again. Tell me something about yourself, your your dreams, what you hope to accomplish, um, what you studied at school, you know, college, what you do for work, what you hope to do. And I will tell you a bit about myself. Gloria kind of looks at him a little bit. Um, and I will actually make a charisma and empathy roll. Because he is trying to do this honestly, not dishonestly. Kind of looks at him a bit odd. Um, almost, she's almost torn as to like whether she should be repelled or drawn in. It's like she's a little bit of both. She sets down her food a little bit and takes a drink. I what? I I apologize, Gloria. I did not mean to off-put you. I just I wish to get to know you, and I wish for you to get to know me. Honestly, I feel I felt especially drawn to you. The absence of a week or two, the initial connection that we had, it tugs at my very soul. I just, I don't know, feel as though I must make amends. Perhaps we can start over a little bit. As Stefan looks into her eyes, she returns the gaze to him. Um, a bit of sadness begins to come over him. And unbeknownst to his conscious mind, or yeah, slightly unbeknownst to his conscious mind, he begins to feel this twinge tug at him. I wish to get to know you better, as I wish for you to get to know me better. Let us talk. I will let you begin. I will listen to everything you have to say about your dreams, your aspirations, what you studied in school, at college, what you do for work, what your pursuits are. And then I will return the favor once I have listened to you. As Stefan speaks, the suggestion in his voice, the slight, almost to a mortal eye or to an untrained eye, um, unnoticeable dilating and retracting of his pupils that draw this woman's gaze in, this gentle creature, makes her more receptive to the suggestion that he speaks. It takes hold of her, and she does not immediately do this. She sits back and relaxes a bit. And looks at Stefan. There's I'm actually gonna have her make a self-control at this point for the withdrawal. She only barely manages to compose herself. She sits back, she takes a deep breath, putting one hand on another to steady it. What troubles you, Gloria? As he steps over to her. Taking putting his wrist up to his mouth and puncturing, keeping the blood from exiting the wounds, caressing the side of her face, brushing her hair back away. Don't be troubled, Gloria. I have noticed certain reactions in you. Please, drink. As he holds his wrist out, she looks almost she doesn't immediately grab his arm, but at the last moment something takes over her and she puts down the box of food that she had in her hands, takes his hand. Gloria, I am not trying to trick you. I am not. I only wish for you to be at peace. I only wish the best for you. And I will actually attempt to make a charisma and empathy as he's trying to appeal to her emotionally. She looks up at him, feeling the genuine words. Become loosed from his tongue and his lips. And places her mouth to the wound. As she does so, Stefan begins to concentrate a little bit, willing the VTMYTE in his veins to flow freely through the wounds and into Gloria's mouth. As she begins to drink and feel that longing, that connection that she's felt before return with renewed strength, taking only just enough, just a point. He gently pulls his arm back and concentrates for a moment as the wound seals itself. And again brushes the hair to the side of her head. It is okay, Gloria. Please, eat. I know you are famished. And then we can talk. The meal continues a little bit, well, for a little bit longer, as Gloria begins to, well, as the two sit in Stefan's apartment and talk about aspects of their lives, interests, things they studied in a genuine bonding of the two. Vampirically domitary vassal. As the hours grow on, into that of the late night and early morning. Eventually, he walks her down to her car about 4 in the morning, 4:30. Sees her off. Plants a gentle kiss on her cheek. Please, drive home safe, Gloria, and do keep in touch. As Stefan steps away from the car and begins to head back upstairs to his apartment, Gloria drives away back to her own respective dwelling. Stefan heads back up to his apartment. When he gets back inside, locks the door behind him, begins to clean up a bit, placing the remains into a garbage can, and walks over to his bookshelf, grab a book he's checked out yet again from the library. This time, a book on technology. Computer technology. He sits back on his or lays back on his bed and reads until the sun rises and he falls to sleep for the day.